Hello and welcome to 11 on 11, a recap of the biggest stories we covered this week. I'm Ashley King. We begin with our biggest story, a major education announcement here in the capital city. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders was joined by Turning Point CEO Erika Kirk for a proclamation encouraging high schools and colleges across the state to allow students to engage in political conversations. It's all part of the organization's Club America chapters, which honor the late conservative activist Charlie Kirk's legacy after his assassination 6 months ago. We begin with Carter Thweet, who was in the room for the announcement that supporters hope inspires a new generation.
Thank you so much.
Erika Kirk, serving as CEO of conservative youth organization Turning Point USA, joined Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders at the governor's mansion Wednesday.
I'm so grateful, and I know that each and every one of the students here and across the country is grateful as well.
The two organized the event for a major education announcement.
I'm signing a proclamation formalizing my administration's support for Turning Point and their Club America program. This proclamation encourages every Arkansas high school and college to engage in civic discourse by starting a Club America or Turning Point USA chapter.
Club America is a high school-based chapter organization started by Turning Point in 2025, shortly before Charlie Kirk's death. Club America director Nick Coca explaining what it could look like in Arkansas.
Any student that believes in Charlie Kirk's mission and wants to pick up that mantle and fight for American exceptionalism and limited government, they're going to have the opportunity to do that in the state of Arkansas.
Coca also addressed concerns of indoctrination, something the Arkansas Learns Act forbids in public schools.
We are an extracurricular club, just like if a student wanted to join a chess club or the football team. If they want to be a part of Club America, we welcome you. We would love to have you. If not, that's okay.
The governor's proclamation adds that it discourages public schools from discriminating against free speech, especially conservative students' right to free speech. Kirk told the crowd that if something like that does happen, students will have their support.
As long as you're a part of Turning Point USA, you have us by your side, and we will be there for you every step of the way. And just like this governor and many others that are out there, we got your back always.
In Little Rock, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
Coca said it'd be up to the governor to decide what could happen if a school pushed back on a Turning Point or Club America chapter. Sanders didn't provide specifics on what she'd do in her speech, simply saying that she'll stand up for students. But outside the governor's mansion, political tensions flared as protesters gathered in opposition of the new education initiative. Just before the announcement, the Young Democrats of Arkansas held their own news conference criticizing the proposal, calling it indoctrination. Tanya Motorzitsky was there as the politics collided.
A political clash erupted outside the governor's mansion Wednesday morning, as Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Turning Point USA CEO Erika Kirk urged every high school and college campus in the state to launch Club America chapters. Protesters outside the event made clear they reject this push in schools.
Really hurtful to see how education has become exploited and just dismantled because they want to push this Christian nationalism. It should be the right to choose of what to believe in.
Most of the battles in politics are not just a battle between black and white. Most of these things we can do with partisanship.
High school student Megan Major supports politics in schools, but only if both sides get equal play.
I'm against it being one or the other. Like, we're seeing a lot of polarization right now in the political climate.
She fears this could drive teachers away.
And one of them mentioned that he's afraid that we're going to see a lot of teachers quit because of this.
Before Sanders and Kirk spoke, the Young Democrats of Arkansas blasted the plan.
They will attempt to force ideological, partisan political clubs into public high schools and universities across the state. Let's be clear. What she's doing is wrong.
Vice President of YDA, Aaliyah Rowe, argues Turning Point chapters will not help Arkansas students.
How is a Turning Point chapter in every Arkansas high school or university going to improve the lives of students? Because children can't learn when they're hungry. Children can't learn when they're sick.
YDA hopes this sparks voter turnout in November.
Erika Kirk's presence here does not scare us. A potential Turning Point USA partnership with our state does not scare us. We are motivated.
In Little Rock, Tanya Motorzitsky, THV 11 News.
Arkansas Democrats say if Turning Point USA can be in every school, so can its organization. And they tell us if there's pushback or an effort to stop it, they're ready to get attorneys involved. Meanwhile, 3 people face charges after a confrontation outside of Erika Kirk's appearance at the governor's mansion. A state police spokesperson says 2 troopers were assaulted as they tried to de-escalate an altercation. Little Rock police arrested 2 women and 1 man with charges ranging from second-degree battery to resisting arrest. And turning now to a few upcoming runoff elections happening later this month, starting with the sheriff race in Saline County. Because no Republican candidate received the majority of votes last week, Dustin Robertson and Richard Friend have another election to get through.
Early voting will start on March 24th. It'll run through March 30th. It'll be open through the 27th during that first week, and then Monday, March 30th from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And then Tuesday, March 31st is Election Day, and voting sites will be open 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Saline County will have 4 voting sites open throughout early voting and Election Day. Those are the Benton Vote Here building across from the county courthouse, Bryant First Baptist Church, Owensville Baptist Church, and East End Baptist Church. The race to become Arkansas's next Secretary of State isn't over yet either. Republican voters will decide between these 2 candidates in a runoff later this month, Senator Kim Hammer and Brian Norris. While we saw record turnout numbers for a midterm primary last week, both candidates emerged from a 3-way race last Tuesday and now hope to keep their campaigns focused on their main themes. As we found out this week, one is looking to get rid of voting machines while the other is focused on ballot question reform.
State Senator Kim Hammer and Army veteran Brian Norris are heading to a runoff after no candidate secured more than 50% of the vote in the Republican primary. Both candidates say if elected, they want to make sure they're instilling the calls from the White House and continue to push for election transparency and security. Norris says he wants to push for better election security.
If you know, Windows 10 reached its end-of-life service in October 2025. So that means that all of our machines in Arkansas, I think all of them, there might be 1 or 2 counties that did migrate to Windows 11, but all the rest of them are not receiving security patches, updates, any of that.
Norris alleges 80% of the components used in the voting machines come from what he calls communist China, and says this is causing us to be vulnerable and would not mind seeing the state go to paper ballots. While Hammer says we are the #1 state in the country for election integrity and security, and there's been no claims of stolen elections.
We have so many audits in place right now that have been utilized, and fortunately, we have found that there are no fraudulent activities in our current systems.
Hammer says 16 years in the legislature gives him a head start with holding the Secretary of State office. He says it's important to make sure all communities have access to voting polls.
We have an aging generation of poll workers, and we need to bring the younger generation into place and get them involved in the process. But then also education, because a lot of this happens because people are unaware of what's required by law because they have not been taught what's been required by law. And that would be one of my primary focuses.
And Norris says he won't stand for any discrimination efforts made at polls to stop any race or economic groups from voting.
So I will have to refer that to the AG's office. I won't just refer it. I will go and stand in his office, get on his desk if necessary, until the proper enforcement agencies are fully engaged.
Both men also plan to grow businesses in the natural state.
And I want to bring so many opportunities to this state to where your children and my future grandchildren can thrive in Arkansas and not just survive.
We want to make sure that a business wants to get an LLC, that the turnaround time to get that LLC so they can get into business and get going quicker is a high priority. We also want to make sure they get their letters in good standing. But also we need to educate our businesses.
Tanya Motorzitsky reporting, and the winner will go on to face Kelly Grapp. That's Grapp with a Democratic nominee in November for the general election. And Little Rock school leaders are laying out their vision for next year and highlighting real progress amid ongoing challenges, but leaders warn 3rd grade reading remains the critical hurdle ahead. THV 11's Catherine Rowley reports on a new mobile app to address it.
That the state of the Little Rock School District is significantly improving and the momentum is real.
Within the district, 55% of schools showed improvement on their state report cards, even moving up a letter grade compared to the last 3 years.
This momentum is evidenced by the majority of our schools seeing increases in their state report card this past year.
It wasn't all a celebration, however. LRSD Superintendent Dr. Jamal Wright also addressed some challenges the district is facing, including finances, declining enrollment, and one in particular.
Among all the academic challenges we face, third grade literacy is one of the most important.
According to the Arkansas Department of Education, 65% of third graders in the state do not read at grade level. To help last year, the district implemented Reading in the Rock, a program designed to grow home libraries and boost literacy.
It marks the transition from learning to read to reading to learn. If students are not reading proficiently by third grade, every subject becomes harder.
The data shows an increase in students reading at grade level and a drop in those at risk of being held back. And to build on that, the district announced a new program.
While schools play a critical role in literacy, parents are a child's first and most influential teachers. That is why we are proud to announce that Paloma will become the newest part of the Reading in the Rock initiative.
Paloma is a mobile app that helps families build a daily habit of engaging in their kids' literacy for 15 minutes a day.
The program works in whatever language the family speaks at home and can also create custom books that fit the child's interest.
We map the parents' resources to the district core curriculum so that there's coherence between what, when, and how is a student learning the art-controlled battle in the classroom.
Under the Educational Reform Learns Act this year, this is the first year third graders could be held back if they are not reading at grade level. The CEO of the program says they're already seeing results among students using it.
And most importantly for students, last year we saw families using Paloma. Their kids made 64% more reading growth than a control group.
In Little Rock, Catherine Rowley, THV 11 News.
Meanwhile, a new one-of-a-kind learning software at a Northwest Arkansas middle school is gaining the attention of state leaders. And after seeing success, they say it could soon expand to other schools across the state. The software works by identifying specific skills each student is missing and creates a customized pathway to help them catch up. And it's receiving praise from Education Secretary Jacob Oliva for its efforts to train teachers and tailor lessons to individual students' needs.
When I get to go visit a classroom and ask the students, are these strategies, is this software, is this program helping you learn math? 100% of them said yes.
Joel Rose is the co-founder and CEO of the program developed by the nonprofit New Classrooms. And as a former fifth grade math teacher, he says he understands the struggles associated with learning.
What we find from teachers is that many say that they struggle with the fact that students are coming in at all these different performance levels. What they appreciate is now they can finally have a way to meet each student where they are and then give them a path to get to where they need to be.
Rose also points to a school in New York using the program, saying they jumped from average performance to ranking top 10 in the state for growth after implementing the program. And sticking with education this week marked the third anniversary of the Arkansas Learns, the controversial mega bill that overhauled education for every kid in the state. 3 years in, state leaders say it's working as intended. Carter Thweet sat down with the top education officials in the state, Secretary of Education Jacob Oliva, to see how things are going.
There's so much to celebrate with the signing and implementation of Arkansas Learns.
Secretary Oliva and I started off discussing the new reading standards to pass third grade. Why is this such a priority for you? And if people feel those levels are too strict, what would you say to that?
A lot of people say that this is a third grade retention policy, but it's really about a promotion policy. The goal is not to retain every child that's at risk. We need to make sure that every student is able to read at or above grade level by third grade.
I know that raising minimum teacher salaries to $50,000 was a huge priority of the Learns Act.
That's step number one, is we want to get good teachers and give them a competitive salary, but then keep investing in those teachers so that they stay. Are they getting access to coaching? Are they participating in high-quality professional development?
Then we discussed school choice, which has been a major focus in the governor's plan to reshape Arkansas schools.
People will say things like, this EFA program, it's taking money that struggling public schools need, and it's going to private school tuition or other things like that. So how would you kind of respond to that? And is this program a good use of money as it continues to grow?
The public schools are fully funded based on the process that's been in law for decades in this state. Nobody's going underfunded. It's a misnomer. That's not true. The pot of money and dollars to fund students that are participating in educational freedom accounts comes from a separate part of the budget. So we need to make sure all students and families get the opportunity to be in an educational environment that works best for them.
I know that you and the governor have been big on removing distractions in the classroom like cell phones. I know we're still pretty early into the bell-to-bell no cell act, but how would you say that's been going so far?
Overall, the response we get from teachers is they wish we would have done this decades ago. They feel like they're free to teach. Students are engaged. They're free from distractions.
The bottom line?
How are we setting up a system so that everybody graduates ready to be enlisted, enrolled, or employed?
Secretary Oliva says one thing they're looking at for the future is artificial intelligence, how AI can be used to help teachers and students alike. That full interview is on our streaming app, THV11+. And gas prices continue to climb here in the U.S. and Arkansas. After the break, we take a closer look at the trend and what's causing the surge. Welcome back. Oil and gas prices continue to rise this week as Iran continues to target oil tankers in the Strait, a key waterway for the global export of crude oil. And as strikes continue, some lawmakers here in the U.S. are raising concerns about Operation Epic Fury and when it may end. On the heels of that uncertainty, many of us here at home are left wondering, when will gas prices go down? Carter Thweed spoke with an expert about just how much they've gone up in the last few weeks and what it means for Arkansans.
Customers in Little Rock say they've noticed a change lately.
I remember seeing gas prices when they were 95 cents a gallon.
I woke up this morning, it was $3.09, then came back, it was $3.19.
They aren't wrong. According to AAA, Arkansas gas prices have jumped by nearly 70 cents a gallon in just 1 month.
Anytime that there's any sort of risk or uncertainty overseas, the markets are going to price that in.
And some may be getting hit even harder at the pump. While regular gas is up around 70 cents compared to last month, diesel is up well over $1.
Diesel is the second largest cost for trucking companies, right behind labor. And so any increase in the price of diesel tends to have a large impact on the bottom line.
And it'll affect another group that we know has seen struggles, Arkansas farmers. Tyler Oxner with Arkansas Farm Bureau says the state saw 33 instances of farms filing for Chapter 12 bankruptcy in 2025. That's the most in the nation.
Every little thing that they do is going to require diesel. And so they if there's any kind of price fluctuation there, it's definitely on the front of their mind, and it's going to hit their bottom line almost immediately.
But everyone is affected.
Man, it's making it hard for people to get back and forth to work, with the high gas prices. And the pay's still the same at work.
According to the AAA, the spring months also create more demand for gas as the weather warms up and people hit the road for things like spring break. That, combined with military activity overseas, is what's mostly to blame for these rising prices. About halfway through the March here, and the madness is about to begin. After the break, a look at the science behind building your bracket. Stay with us.
Brain just keeps inventing ways to make the pizza different. It's no longer what can you put on a pizza, it's what can't you put on a pizza. This week on Eat It Up, we have made our way to Argenta. This is probably the hottest name online right now, Funky Stretch Pizza. They already got an awesome patio, and if you want to describe them by one word, it's creativity. Peanut butter and jelly wings, you crazy? Salads that look unbelievably not like salads, and pizza creations that you have never heard of. I cannot wait to show you guys exactly what we're diving into. So what do you say? Let's eat it up.
it started out, it was just going to be like the pizza, you know, just like Italian, you know, pepperoni sausage, you know, the whole thing. And then Tina started cooking Chinese New Year. So it was like, all right, so now we're going to do like this fusion thing.
Mauritius, it's an island off the east coast of Africa. The indigenous people are Chinese, Indian, and African. So my kind of leg of that is Chinese. But the food that I grew up with is a mix of all three of those cultures.
Many people that have come in between the pizza pub and here just being like, I can get something different. Nobody else is doing this. You know, you can get fried bologna up there or you can get beef curry down here. So I think what makes a great pizza is just a great catalyst to do anything that you want. You know, it's great.
You and Jess were like, oh, funky is the thing, and then that's
dough.
just my style.
Yeah.
And then the stretch,
Tina's more of the funky, I guess I'm more of the stretch, I guess.
Welcome to the Goo Goo. This is the Goo Goo pizza, probably more one of the traditional ones that they got, pepperoni, all that good stuff, fresh basil, hot honey. This is the kind of pizza you eat the crust on because it's so filling and so good. Hot yowie. The little lemon squeeze on there. A recommendation from the chef. Never in my life. Well, I thought, yeah, let's squeeze some lemon on my pizza. Let's get a little lemon on there. That citrus just opens it up. This is the Hoku. See that green beans on your pizza? It's what can't you put on a pizza? And I got my vegetables in today with my green beans because of this. The Hoku. Peanut butter and jelly wings. This may shock all y'all out there. It tastes like a PB&J. Except it's a chicken wing. Spirals, looky here, just potatoes, delicious. Never thought I'd be using chopsticks at a pizza spot. Yet here we are, 2026. It literally feels like a kid eating here. You feel like a kid when you get to eat here. Because you're like, hey, you want beef curry pizza? Sure. You want peanut butter and jelly wings? Sure. You want chopsticks with your with your potato wedges? No problem. We got it all here.
Later this weekend, the NCAA tournament will announce their bracket, and Hog fans are hopeful to see Coach Cal and his team make the cut. They're also hoping to make the right picks on their bracket. Emily Miranda shares what you need to know for Selection Sunday and the tournament.
There are over 9 quintillion possible combinations of brackets.
The NCAA college basketball tournament might be the one event where the competition off the court rivals the competition on it.
I got really involved in college basketball. I used to be a really big Paige Bueckers fan, and so that kind of got me interested in it.
Every March, millions of fans sharpen their pencils to fill out their March Madness brackets.
I've never done it before, but I would like to do it.
Many are striving to create the perfect bracket, to win bragging rights, or simply enjoy the game with friends.
Probably kind of collaborate, talk about predictions or what we think is going to happen in this tournament.
Many fans are now turning to AI to help build their brackets.
If you ask any AI tool like ChatGPT or Google Gemini, who's going to win this game? Which upset should I pick in the first round, the round of 64? It will tell you.
But does AI actually increase your odds of creating a winning bracket?
AI systems are extremely powerful and informative, but they will not solve the perfect bracket problem in March Madness.
Sheldon Jacobson, a computer science professor at the University of Illinois, has been tackling this issue for over a decade. He says you should never ask AI to build a perfect bracket.
The games are played by people on a court, not on a computer. The outcomes are unpredictable, and that means we're going to have upsets which no computer model, no AI system can predict.
He says AI uses all available historical data to recognize patterns, but patterns capture trends, not outcomes.
To actually pinpoint which teams will be part of those upsets is very, very hard. And AI systems are going to be no better than the judgment of an informed fan.
He says this doesn't mean AI shouldn't be used.
If you want a pool of brackets, it can often find a bracket within a pool that will actually be very, very good. So that's the benefit of AI. It looks at patterns, it looks at trends.
If you want to put together a single bracket, he says picking the favorites will give you better odds than asking AI.
Don't start in the round of 64 and then build towards a national champion. Go backwards. Start with the Final Four or the Elite Eight and then build your bracket around that.
Despite the low odds of creating a winning bracket with AI, some Longhorn fans say they will consider using it to help inform their brackets.
I can probably kind of look at different statistics for the past seasons that have taken place and kind of compare that overall.
In Austin, Emily Miranda, CBS Austin News.
And remember, you can catch Selection Sunday only on THV 11. And we'll have highlights, reactions, and picks right here on THV 11 Plus. That's it for 11 on 11. We'll see you next week.